and welcome. Tonight, 26 suspects now in police net over the killing of over 50 persons in Yalawata, Benue State, as Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetoku says the suspects will soon have their day in court. House of Representatives to investigate the recurring killings of travelers along the Ogwan-Rimi-Mango route in Plateau State. The leaders of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, meet with officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission over the PDP's secretaryship crisis and its implications for the party's next meeting in June. And a fragile ceasefire appears to have taken hold between Israel and Iran, with both nations acknowledging that it is in place.
On business news tonight, the Senate approves second extension for the deadline of the 2024 capital budget component implementation to December the 31st, 2025.
On sports news tonight, Argentine soccer star Lionel Messi faces a reunion with his former club PSG after his Inter Miami side reached the last 16 of the FIFA Club World Cup.
From the nation's capital, Nigeria and Brazil signed Memorandum of Understanding cutting across various sectors aimed at advancing economic growth between both countries. It's been just under a week since President Bola Tinubu gave a clear directive: find those behind the brutal killings in Yalawata, Benue State. Well, the Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetoku seems to have taken that order seriously today. He announced a major breakthrough: the arrest of 26 suspects believed to be connected to the deadly attack that left 47 people dead. Speaking at a news conference in Abuja, the IGP assured the nation that more arrests are on the way as efforts continue to track down other suspects still at large.
I am pleased to inform you today that 26 persons directly connected to this crime have so far been arrested and their weapons recovered. On 19th June 2025, 2 crime suspects who were masterminds of this attack were apprehended from their hideout. This arrest led to the arrest of 7 other suspects the following day, 20/06/2025. They were picked up from various locations where they had fled, hoping to evade justice. On 21st June, another key suspect, in whose house the initial meeting to plan the attack was held, was arrested. On 22nd June, a major breakthrough was recorded with the arrest of 18 other suspects who directly took part in the killings. And on 23rd June, our detectives recovered 2 general-purpose machine guns and 8 AK-47 rifles, which were part of the weapons used during the attack. All 28 suspects are currently in custody and have voluntarily confessed to their individual and collective roles in this incident. As I speak, legal proceedings are being finalized and they will be arraigned in court without delay. We will go after anyone, planner or executor, who attacks any community in Nigeria. We will leave no stone unturned until every single individual responsible for the killing of innocent Nigerians is arrested and brought to justice.
And back in Yalawata, the community is still grieving, but they're not backing down. Despite the attack that claimed over 50 lives, residents say they will not abandon their ancestral homes. In fact, the district head of Aniev Council Ward, Chief Bernard Shower, told Channels Television the negotiations with the herdsmen suspected to be behind the violence are completely off the table. He is now calling on the federal government to urgently boost security presence in the area and prevent further bloodshed.
11 days after the killings in Yalawata in Benue State, the survivors have been counting their losses. The farming community, which borders Nasarawa State, is in a tense mood, with residents still in shock over the loss of their loved ones. Down but not out, the people vow to defend their land.
Our belief is that we were made to understand that these people want to overthrow our land, to take over our land. And this land does not belong to any other person than we.
This hall is a signature of the ruins that trailed the attack. According to eyewitnesses, at least 50 persons were killed during the attack on the hall.
We never knew they are coming. We only heard gunshots. Why some of us were at police station, and then it was raining, so we started hearing gunshots. They wanted to capture the police station and then do away with people. You know, normally people do sleep up there. The population of people sleeping up there is more of here, though. So they wanted to burst there and then finish everything up there and then kill the police. The police, fortunately, the police fire with them and then they diverted to the new market.
Internally displaced persons are taking shelter at the Makurdi International Market. Some of them are barely surviving in their moments of grief. However, some music lifts their spirit.
It is because of the crisis that make me to be here. Because the very day it happens, when I saw it, I was very afraid.
The government decided to bring vehicles and convey people to this place. That's what gives birth to this camp.
The state government is making effort to bring succor to the people.
On daily basis, SEMA and spirited individuals who have been coming in donating food, materials, and even clothing, we have been sharing to them on daily basis.
The IDP, some of them wants to go back. We are also making provision on that because they say there is this camp there, the security provided security for them. Some of them, their houses were not destroyed.
This attack has left the people with scars, with some of them still battling with the trauma.
It's one thing to know that there's insecurity. It's another thing to be a direct victim. And then for some of them, they have still not come out of it. They are still in a daze. They are in a state of shock.
We really want to go back to our farms because food insecurity is becoming a national crisis. And Benue State is a major contributor to food security in Nigeria.
The attack is creating a humanitarian crisis in Benue State, and the people are hoping that the security situation is addressed to enable them return to their livelihood.
Meanwhile, in Plateau State, the scene of a deadly attack on travelers, police reinforcements have now arrived. Tactical teams and special operations units have been deployed to track down the suspects. So far, 22 arrests have been made in connection with the mob killing, as condemnation continues to pour in from across the country. Our next report takes a look, a deeper one, at what's being done to restore peace and prevent further violence.
Governor Caleb Mutfwang of Plateau State leads a company of security chiefs to visit survivors of last Friday's attack on travelers in Mangun district of Mangu local government area of the state. The victims are part of a 31-member group from Basawa community in Zaria, Kaduna State. They were traveling in a bus for a wedding ceremony when they were attacked along the Unguan Remi Mangu route of Plateau. The state government is promising to take care of the medical bills of survivors.
Plateau State government has, of course, condemned that, and the governor in person has condemned that action and has also been able to reach out to the governor of Kaduna State and the emir of Zaria to further condole with them over that unfortunate incident. In the meantime, the governor has reached out and ensured that the security of those people, the logistics around them, the bills and everything that is connected has been taken care of to ensure that they are taken back to their home state in Kaduna State.
According to the police, 22 persons have been arrested and efforts are on to ensure all perpetrators are apprehended.
Government is doing everything possible to ensure that this kind of ugly development does not take place again.
As we are talking now, we have put a plan on ground to embark on proper sensitization of the youths within the Mangu local government as a whole, so that they understand the essence of making sure that they don't go into violence.
The travelers were heading to Kwampan local government area, and residents of the area are honoring those who lost their lives in the incident by observing a 7 days prayer.
We've been able to meet with the family of the groom and the bride. The bride is from Kwa in Kwampan local government. We are sending a high-powered delegation to visit the families in Zaria, the family of the groom, for the 7 days prayer by tomorrow, by the grace of God.
On the other hand, the Plateau State chapter of Jama'at Nasrul Islam have condemned the attack, calling for calm, stating that any reprisal attack might aggravate the situation.
While condemning this dastardly act, it has become very necessary to call on the Muslim Ummah to remain calm and allow government and relevant security agencies to handle the situation to the best of their ability. Jama'at Nasrul Islam Plateau State chapter is calling on all Muslims to remain calm. Nobody should take the law into his own hands.
12 persons died in the incident and 11 others are receiving treatment.
The House of Representatives is now stepping into the growing outrage over the Mangu killings. The lawmakers have resolved to launch an investigation into the repeated attacks along the Angwan-Rimi Mangu Road in Plateau State, the latest of which saw 12 wedding-bound travelers murdered in cold blood. Their message is very clear. This has happened too many times, and it cannot be business as usual.
Chartered Institute of Digital and Educational Technology is concerned that this horrific act is part of an increasing trend of insecurity and interstate violence that threatens the freedom of movement, peace, and unity of Nigeria as a country. Worried that despite previous resolutions of this Honorable House and repeated assurances from security agencies, attacks of this nature continue unabated, raising serious questions about the adequacy of security architecture and protection of lives and properties in Nigeria. Concerned that the continued failure to arrest and prosecute perpetrators of heinous crimes is emboldening criminal elements and undermining public confidence in the government's ability to provide security and justice in that area and other areas in the country where such acts of crimes continue to happen without any action against the perpetrators. Mandates the Inspector General of Police, the Director General DSS, and the Chief of Army Staff to urgently investigate the incident, identify and apprehend perpetrators, and ensure they are brought to justice without any delay.
The Adamawa state government has officially stripped Nigeria's former Vice President Atiku Abubakar of his revert title of Waziri Adamawa, citing non-indigenship as the reason for this action. The removal, which also affects other title holders in the state, was disclosed in a circular by the Permanent Secretary in the Department of Chieftaincy Affairs under the Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Adama Felicity Maman. Well, according to that circular, all kingmakers and council members from Adamawa Emirate Council must be indigenes of Yola South, Yola North, Girei, Mayo Belwa, Song, and Zumo districts, while those of Nubi Emirate Council must be indigenes of Nubi North, Nubi South, vis-a-vis all Emirates traditional councils across the state. This effectively disqualifies the former vice president who hails from Jada local government area under the Ganye chiefdom while holding a title within the Adamawa Emirate Council. In part two, after the break, leaders of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, meet with officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission over its secretaryship crisis and its implications for the party's next meeting in June. Please join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our main stories. 26 suspects now in police net over the killing of over 50 persons in Yalawata, Benue State. As Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun says, the suspects will soon have their day in court. House of Representatives to investigate the recurring killings of travelers along the Angwan-Rimi-Mangu route in Plateau State. Leaders of the People's Democratic Party meet with officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission over the PDP secretaryship crisis and its implications for the party's next meeting in June. And a fragile ceasefire appears to have taken hold between Israel and Iran, with both nations acknowledging that it is in place. Politics now, where behind closed doors, the leadership of the People's Democratic Party and officials of INEC, that's the Independent National Electoral Commission, are trying to resolve a messy internal crisis. The issue? Disagreements over the party's national secretary position and what it could mean for all-important PDP National Executive Committee meeting, which is scheduled for June the 30th. INEC has raised red flags over the inconsistencies in the PDP's notification letter, and today's meeting was aimed at ironing out these things before the D-Day.
The acting national chairman of the People's Democratic Party and members of the PDP Governors Forum are attending this meeting with the leadership of the Independent National Electoral Commission at the INEC headquarters in Abuja. The meeting is to discuss issues surrounding the PDP National Secretary crisis and the recent reply of the electoral body to the PDP notice of her 100th National Executive Committee meeting, scheduled for June the 30th.
We had NEC, and there was a decision of NEC which mandated me to sign a letter to avoid controversy. And I received your reply on that letter, urging us to be guided by certain rules. So I think we are here to interact sincerely with you, off camera, so that it will guide us.
In his remarks, the INEC chairman cited inconsistencies in some recent correspondence from the PDP, making it impossible for it to play its role as the regulator of political parties.
In the last couple of months, we received letters from the party saying that one Mr. Ude Okoye was the secretary. Thereafter, the party changed its mind and said it was Senator Anyang. Thereafter, the party changed its mind to say that it's Mr. Shokwedo. And again, the party changed its mind to say it's Anyang. And the last letter from the party actually has no secretary at all. It was only signed by the chairman, which we responded to. So there are issues to discuss. And we look forward to this important clarification from the party as to who is the secretary.
The meeting then proceeds into a closed-door session, which lasted for about 1 hour. At the end of that meeting, the acting national chairman of the party briefs the media on the outcome of the closed-door session.
We will go back and meet our larger stakeholders and disseminate all the discussion that has taken place today, and we'll come up with a position immediately. Thank you. You will hear from us.
The PDP has been enmeshed in several crises, including those of the secretary position, which has seen the party battle legal battles, as Mr. Samuel Anyanwu and Ude Okoye lay claim to the office of the National Secretary of the party. However, the party is expected to take a decision on the matter at the June 30th meeting of the National Executive Committee.
In Imo State, Governor Hope Uzodinma says his vision of a new Imo is no longer just a dream, it's taking shape. Addressing lawmakers at the Imo State House of Assembly in Owerri, the state capital, the governor gave a detailed rundown of his achievement 18 months into his second term, highlighting progress in infrastructure, economy, and governance. And while he looked back at accomplishments, the State Assembly took a bold step forward, formally endorsing President Bola Tinubu for a second term in office.
Lawmakers make their way into the hallowed chambers of the Imo State House of Assembly as Governor Hope Uzodinma delivers a State of the State address, the first since the start of the second term in office. Also present are political leaders across party lines, religious leaders, traditional rulers, professional bodies, civil society groups, and other key stakeholders in Imo State.
Your Excellency,
the Speaker of the Imo State House of Assembly sets the tone for the day's event as he highlights the governor's achievements so far and pledges continued legislative support to drive development in the state.
I want to appreciate Your Excellency for most of the verifiable projects which your administration has executed since your first tenure commenced. The introduction of night landing facilities in Sam Mbakwe Imo State Airport, establishment of the Imo State Electricity Regulatory Commission, ORAS, Special Energy Free Trade Zone, and the Light Up Imo project. We are most hopeful that in the near future, lack of steady power supply will be a thing of the past in Imo State.
Governor Uzodinma uses the occasion to present a sector-by-sector breakdown of his administration's performance in the last 18 months.
Since the onset of this administration, Imo workers have continued to receive their salaries promptly. Pensioners have been paid. All the arrears and the civil servants have never felt or experienced any delay in the payment of their salaries. At the State Secretariat, we undertook a full-scale rehabilitation, both structural and psychological. For those who recall, that complex had deteriorated into a workplace of despair.
On security, Governor Uzodinma reassures Imo indigents at home and abroad that the state is now peaceful and open for investment.
Let me at this point reassure our brothers and sisters in the diaspora, Imo is safe for your return. Those who visited last year during the festivities returned to their destinations in peace. Join hands with us in building, not in destroying. The land we can all call our own is Imo State. If Imo is destroyed, we will not have any place to call our own.
Then, a vote of confidence is passed on Governor Hope Uzodinma for his giant strides, and lawmakers unanimously endorsed President Bola Tinubu for his second term in office.
All those in support that this honorable House do pass a vote of implicit confidence on the Governor of Imo State. Those in agreement say aye. Aye.
Before leaving the chamber, Governor Uzodinma also informs the gathering that President Bola Tinubu is expected in Imo State in August to commission major legacy projects. Ejitope Kuteyi, Channels Television News.
We'll continue the news at 10 now as we head over to Abuja studios where Millicent Walker is standing by. Over to you, Millicent.
Many thanks, Anne. Nigeria and Brazil have signed a memorandum of understanding cutting across various sectors, including defense cooperation, combating illicit drugs, power and energy, livestock development, as well as health. The two countries signed the agreements at a strategic dialogue mechanism meeting in Abuja. Speaking at the event, Vice President Kashim Shettima and Brazilian Vice President Mr. Geraldo Alckmin underscore the importance of the relationship in advancing economic growth between the two countries. Our State House correspondent, Emperor Simon, has more.
The second session of the Nigeria-Brazil Strategic Dialogue Mechanism is attended by Vice President Kashim Shettima and the Brazilian delegation led by the Vice President, Mr. Geraldo Alckmin. State governors, ministers, and other government officials are also attending the high-level meeting. Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tugar, sets the stage for discussion.
The emphasis is on economic and social development. It is essential to highlight that trade and investment are instruments for inclusive economic growth and poverty reduction.
Presentations are taken from various ministries and working groups detailing areas of collaboration that the two countries can leverage, including Nigeria's livestock sector, where the government is targeting to increase revenue generation in the sector from the current 32 billion naira to over 70 billion naira within the next 5 years.
There are two fundamental areas we are looking at out of this strategic dialogue mechanism.
After the presentations, it's the moment for the signing of Memoranda of Understanding. The two vice presidents are the first to put pen to paper, underpinning their commitment to forging stronger ties.
Exchange and handshake of the MOU by both vice presidents.
Next to be signed is the MOU on Defense Cooperation, handled by the Minister of Defense, Mr. Abubakar Badaru, on behalf of Nigeria.
Here we go, the symbolic exchange of the MOU and handshake, of course.
Other MOU are on power, agriculture and food security, as well as livestock development. Art, culture, tourism and creative economy signs two MOU on audiovisual cooperation and tourism cooperation, while the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency signed an MOU on combating illicit substances. In their separate remarks, Vice President Kashim Shettima and his Brazilian counterpart, Mr. Geraldo Alckmin, emphasized the need for commitment to the agreement signed.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, Brazil and Nigeria, we share similar challenges and, more importantly, common aspirations: economic sustainable development with social justice, the appreciation of cultural diversity, and the promotion of a more just, inclusive and representative international order.
A valorização da diversidade cultural.
This bill comes at a moment of real transformation in Nigeria. Under the able leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, we are engaged in a national effort, a national rebirth to reset and reposition our economy. With difficult but necessary reforms, Nigeria is once again becoming a place where investment makes sense.
The agreement signed between Nigeria and Brazil today have further strengthened their bilateral ties as they both look forward to benefiting from these agreements in days to come. From the banquet hall of the State House, Empress Simon, Channels Television News.
Well, we have more on Nigeria and Brazil's partnerships, but we're going on a break now. Still to come, Senate approves a second extension for deadline of 2024 capital budget component implementation till December 31, 2025. That's from Business News. Do join us again. Watching the news at 10, coming to you live from our Abuja studios. Well, as part of the high-level bilateral engagement under the Nigeria-Brazil Strategic Dialogue Mechanism, SDM, a delegation of senior Brazilian private sector leaders led by the Vice President of Brazil, Geraldo Alckmin, and the Deputy Vice Minister of Agriculture visited Kebbi State to explore investment opportunities. Now, during their visit, the delegation toured the Wakot rice mill facility in Argungu, one of the largest rice production conglomerates in Nigeria.
The Wakot Rice Milling Company, a subsidiary of Tropical General Investment Group, is recognized as a major success story of the rice revolution driven by both the federal government and the Kebbi state government. With a production capacity of 1,000 metric tons, Wakot stands as one of the largest rice milling companies in Nigeria, with 60% of paddy rice being cultivated in Kebbi state.
We started in 2017, and today there's been a consistent policy pushed by Kebbi State to ensure farmers produce the paddy we need to mill and produce the rice that Nigerians consume.
This success story has brought this Brazilian delegation to tour the facility to gain first-hand insights into the operations and production capacity of the company. The delegation, led by the Deputy Vice Minister of Agriculture, Livestock and Food Supply, includes senior Brazilian private sector leaders.
The Brazilian intention is to enhance the Brazilian and the Nigeria partnership in agriculture and livestock, especially to produce crop.
There's a reform around the Naira, which essentially has focused us on two things. It has focused on buying made in Nigerian things. For example, we're in a rice factory now. Nigerians are buying more of locally made rice, and we're developing capacity in that area. We're developing capacity. This is Wakot, and you can see in the last 2 years they've even doubled their capacity.
The delegation also visited the palace of the Emir of Argungu to receive royal blessings and get commendations for the impact of Wakot rice. At the Kebbi State Government House, discussions were held to strengthen investment collaborations.
The recent growth and the successes recorded in the Brazilian economy bear testament to what can be achieved when country looks inward with the determination to succeed, backed by patriotic and hard-working population.
The Kebbi State government also expressed commitment to welcome investments that will enhance the state's agricultural sector and contribute to broader economic development.
Women in today's economy face daunting challenges, from navigating successful careers to balancing motherhood and personal growth. Well, acknowledging these challenges, Fidelity Bank, under the leadership of the first female managing director and chief executive officer, Dr. Nneka Onyeali Ikpe, hosted a roundtable discussion in Lagos, bringing together women who are breaking barriers across various fields of life.
Nigeria, a country with the world's highest percentage of active women entrepreneurs, boasts of 39.7 million micro, small and medium enterprises, with 23 million of them owned by women. In Lagos alone, a 2019 collaborative survey estimates approximately over 3.2 million micro businesses, and 43.32% of them are owned by women. Beyond the statistics, with resilience and determination, women are daring the odds across various sectors. It is with this knowledge that Fidelity Bank let the doors of its creative SME hub wide open to bright women entrepreneurs in Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital, to gain insight at the first of its kind roundtable discussion with its managing director and chief executive officer, Dr. Nneka Onyeali Ikpe. With a career spanning over 30 years, she takes many curious minds on her journey, reflecting on her growth over the years, inspiring other women on how to attain success and achieve a work-life balance.
Work-life balance means that you have to be fully present at work and impact your leadership at work, and of course, the emotional connection at home as a family person.
The roundtable is more than just a masterclass for mothers, wives, and entrepreneurs who are shaping the economy. To them, it is one-in-a-lifetime mentorship opportunity as guests bask in the euphoria of the day, engaging in fun games and winning amazing prizes, courtesy of Fidelity Bank. Some attendees share a glimpse into what fuels their passion and drive.
Some of the things that have helped me to do well: confidence and self-belief, mentorship and support, continuous learning and self-improvement.
There's so much opportunity here if you have the right attitude, and you have to have a go-getter attitude here. I feel like with the right mentality, you can honestly achieve the impossible. So it's fantastic to see an event here where there are so many successful women.
Success Smith, a psychologist and emotional wellness coach, is urging women to invest more in their self-care and mental health, citing it as crucial for overall well-being and success.
So I'm here to tell you today that as a woman, you are a leader and you should prioritize your self-care no matter what.
For Fidelity Bank, the institution says it will continue to contribute meaningfully to society, value diversity and inclusion while prioritizing women and what they represent.
It's a connect with other women and encourage women to deal with the challenges of motherhood, career life, and all what it takes to get to the top.
Despite the hurdles women face at different phases of their lives, they continue to break glass ceilings, redefine success, and create supportive networks that empower each other.
And that's it from the nation's capitals. Back now to Anne for more on the news at 10.
Thank you, Millicent. The plight of widowhood right here in Nigeria, reinforced by inhumane traditional and cultural practices, is to be legislated upon to restore the dignity of the victims. And this was part of the recommendation of the research report on the current state of widows' rights in Nigeria, released by the Rose of Sharon Foundation in collaboration with the International Federation of Women Lawyers. Our correspondent Chris Willems reports.
This press briefing by the Rose of Sharon Foundation is being held in observance of the International Widows' Day to highlight the plight of widows in the country. To make this year's event memorable, the foundation, in collaboration with other notable agencies, including the International Federation of Women Lawyers, is presenting a research report on the current state of widows' rights in the country. But first, a remark by the founder of Rose of Sharon Foundation, Mrs. Folonsho Alakija.
The report that has been gathered nationwide. A lot more needs to be done. They are doing all these harmful things to these widows, and they are getting away with it. We need to provide attention. We are all responsible.
This is followed by comments from the leadership of the International Federation of Women Lawyers, Lagos branch, to give context to the report.
FIDA embarked upon the research study with the Rose of Sharon, as it shows our passion and commitment to ensure continued promotion of the rights of women and gender equality.
I know of a community where it is almost an unspeakable taboo for you to say you call the police. No, you have to explore all avenues within that community. And who are the policy makers of those cultures? It is the men.
The report, which advocates specific social legal protection framework for widows, highlights socioeconomic inequalities, inhumane and degrading practices the widows are subjected to, and way forward amongst which are enactment of a national law specifically for the social legal protection of widows and an inclusive social safety net program.
This should be a comprehensive legislation that speaks to the eradication of any form of harmful practices against widows in any community in Nigeria, including recourse procedures for the violation of the rights of widows. This means processes of how they can go about seeking for redress of the violation of their rights.
While the challenges of widowhood are numerous, doing nothing about it is dangerous. A reason the result of this collaboration between the Rose of Sharon Foundation and FIDA should be commended, so widows can move from the place of dependency to dignity. Chris Willems, Channels Television News.
Grooming People for Better Livelihood Center, a leading non-governmental organization committed to economic empowerment, has hosted its 14th edition of Grooming Splash just to reward its loyal clients. The Chief Executive Officer of Grooming Center, Dr. Godwin Mawabuka, says the 2025 edition of Grooming Splash has rewarded 1,346 clients for their resilience and also strengthening their businesses.
Loyal customers of the Grooming Center are here to receive more rewards from a brand which feels the pulse of the people in need and empowers them financially. This time, the Grooming Splash annual event brings together clients from Lagos, Ogun, Oyo, Edo, Abia State and Abuja to the Commercial Nerve Center, as all brim with confidence that they will win prizes that will boost their businesses. The exercise is done through electronic draws.
We have 4 winners now. From Ijibone 1, we have Rashidat Ogundayo.
Grooming has been so helpful to people. If you really know what you want to do or what you want to go into, not for fashion, not for party, for business, they really help to grow a lot of people. They've empowered a lot of people. In as much as you go in there knows what you want to do as a person, they will help you to achieve your dreams.
This has done a great thing in my life because that will make my husband to save a lot of money for himself. Because buying this now, I know how much he's going to spend. But I'm so happy for grooming, for seeing me through today.
The Splash Reward initiative is an intentional way of helping people to double their income, and over 1,000 clients have been rewarded this year.
It's one of our CSRO giving back to them, making them feel that they belong to the society, helping them out in their business, and also letting them know that we love them. Because they are from the bottom of the pyramid, you have to empower them to be okay.
Whatever thing we do, we want to get back to them and then say we are grateful. So we are giving out these items now. If you look at the list, we have about 1,346 items that we are giving out to them, just to make sure that they are happy and that they continue to partner with us.
The CEO of the Grooming Center, Godwin Wabunka, reaffirms the company's commitment towards transforming lives and strengthening small businesses across the country.
That we are committed to doing, regardless of the macroeconomic situation, which is very challenging at the moment. So just one way of giving back. There are other ways that we give back. We have our scholarship schemes for children, our scholarship schemes and grants for undergraduates and postgraduate students, and a whole lot of other things we do in terms of acceleration, mentoring, and other activities that we do to make sure that we create a chain of development activities around youths and families and communities.
Winners emerged from 58 zones across 32 states, which reflects Grooming Center's reach and commitment to mobilizing resources and offering financial inclusion to those who need the support.
We continue in the world of business now, where Dominic Iwewe is standing by to take us through those stories.
Thank you, Anne. Welcome to Business News. The Senate has again extended the deadline for the implementation of the 2024 budget's capital components till December the 31st, 2025. The Red Chamber made the resolution during Tuesday's plenary following the presentation and accelerated passage of a bill to amend the 2024 Appropriation Act. The chairman of the Senate Committee on Appropriation, Senator Solomon Adeola, who sponsored the bill, said the extension was necessary to allow the federal government complete several ongoing capital projects. Investors in the domestic stock markets gained 764.12 billion naira today as the NGX records another milestone at the close of today's trading session. Willie Bong has the details.
Welcome to the stock market report. It's a roller coaster ride for equities. The NGX has hit yet another milestone. The all-share index hits a record high of 119,000 points today, climbing higher by 1.02% and about R1 trillion gain today from trading that pushed the market cap to 75 trillion naira. Now, big players in the market like Dangote Sugar and Okomo Oil sustained the gains today from the consumer goods sector, by the way. They gained 10% each and sustained a bullish momentum, pushing the index above 118,000 points that we closed with yesterday. We also see Better Glass sustaining the rally. Its share price appreciated further by 30 naira, 35 kobo to close at 333 naira 95 kobo, up 10% today. It's definitely a zero-sum game in the market. We do have the stocks that lost some today, and we see industrial and medical gases, IMG, on that list. And this comes as the company secured shareholders' approval to raise 6.5 billion naira through a rights issue. I guess investors are still processing that. Meanwhile, IMG lost 1 naira 50 kobo today. And those are the highlights. Will Ibong signing out.
And that's it on Business News. Back to Anne for the rest of the news at 10.
Thank you, Dominic. Outside our shores, U.S. President Donald Trump has lashed out at Israel and Iran using an expletive as he accuses both sides of violating the ceasefire. Here's Simon Puser with more international news and around the world in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the Channel studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Donald Trump has warned Israel against launching further attacks on Iran hours after he said a ceasefire between the two sides had taken effect.
I didn't like the fact that Israel unloaded right after we made the deal. They didn't have to unload. And I didn't like the fact that the retaliation was very strong. But in all fairness, Israel unloaded a lot. And now I hear Israel just went out because they felt it was violated by one rocket that didn't land anywhere. That's not what we want, I'll tell you. And I'm telling you, I'm not happy about that, Israel.
The US president used an expletive as he criticized both sides, after each accused the other of breaking the US and Qatar brokered truce.
What the they're doing? Do you understand that?
It comes after Israel said Iran had violated the deal and vowed to respond with powerful strikes. Iran denied firing any missiles towards Israel, and the country's top security body has vowed to respond to any further Israeli aggression. Earlier, Trump posted on social media, "Congratulations to everyone. It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire."
In the early hours of today, we saw a ceasefire. That is a good thing for the region and more widely. We need to maintain that ceasefire, and I think it's very important at this NATO summit that we all work together to make sure that we do, because that ceasefire creates the space for what needs to happen next, which is the negotiations to ensure that Iran does not have the capability to develop nuclear weapons. That is what's at issue here. So I want to see that ceasefire maintained, and we will work with others, including, of course, the US, to ensure that that's the position.
German Chancellor Friedrich Merz has warned that Russia's president understands only the language of force, and that Tuesday's historic NATO summit in The Hague will aim to ensure peace in Europe for generations to come. Merz told Germany's parliament hours before the summit was due to start that Vladimir Putin remained determined that Ukraine should be part of Russia, and he said Berlin would pay its fair share to defend Europe. The head of the World Health Organization has said another appalling attack on a hospital in Sudan has seen more than 40 people killed, many of them children and medics. "We cannot say this louder," he said. "Attacks on health must stop everywhere." Al-Mujlad Hospital was struck on Saturday and is located close to one of the front lines where Sudan's warring parties are fighting in the conflict that is now in its 3rd year. The Rapid Support Forces blames its opponents, the Sudanese army, for attacking the hospital, as do 2 prominent civil society groups, but the army itself has yet to comment on the allegation. 57 soldiers who had been held captive by locals in the mountains of Colombia since the weekend have been freed in a military operation, that's according to the Colombian defense minister. The minister, Pedro Sanchez, said that not a single shot had been fired in what he dubbed Operation Justice. The soldiers were seized in the Cacao region, a stronghold of the EMC rebel group, which engages in cocaine production and trafficking. Mali and Russia have signed a series of agreements aimed at expanding mutual trade and strengthening economic ties. Among them is a pledge for greater cooperation on nuclear energy, according to details released by the Kremlin. The announcement of the deals came during a visit by Mali's junta leader, Colonel Assimi Goïta, to Moscow, which included 2 hours of talks with President Vladimir Putin. Thailand has imposed restrictions on all travellers heading into Colombia as the two countries remain locked in a bitter border dispute. This, one of the few active border crossings, now closed. The ban applies to any vehicle or person trying to cross into Cambodia from checkpoints across several Thai provinces, as well as foreign tourists flying into Siem Reap. The military said in a statement that the new restrictions matched the current security situation. And the winning design for the National Memorial for Queen Elizabeth II has been unveiled and will feature a bridge with a balustrade made of glass, new gates and a commemorative gardens. The design will also feature her husband Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, alongside a traditional large statue of the late Queen overlooking them all. The translucent bridge is inspired by the shape of the late Queen's wedding tiara. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. Nighttime African champions, the Super Falcons, are turning their attention to their final tune-up game against the Black Stars of Ghana after a goalless draw against Portugal in Lisbon ahead of the Women's African Cup of Nations. Arriving in Portugal less than 24 hours before the encounter, the Falcons stood up to the Portuguese in a game that indicated readiness to battle for the continental crown in Morocco. Lionel Messi will face former club PSG at the FIFA Club World Cup last 16 after Inter Miami drew 2-2 with Palmeiras to reach the knockout stages. The Brazilian side fought back from 2 goals down to draw at Hard Rock Stadium, a result which secured both teams a place in the knockout stages. That Sports is back to you, Anne.
Thank you, Chris. And the main news again. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, today announced the arrest of 26 suspects over the recent killing of over 50 persons in Yalawata, Benue State. The IGP who made this announcement in Abuja today says the suspects will soon be charged to court. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Nwawadu. Good night and stay safe.